Welcome back, guys, to the Childhood Week Challenge event day 5. If you're new here, hi, I am Hannah, I am a digital illustrator, and I decided to take the Childhood Week event on Instagram to YouTube and make it like a challenge for myself and create 7 different illustrations to 7 different prompts, film all of it and post each day on YouTube how I did it, all the process, and just talk a little bit about my process, my life, and just some stuff. If you don't know what Childhood Week event is, just check it out on Instagram under account Childhood Week event. It's hosted by Beatrice Blue, one of my favorite illustrators, and basically you get like 7 prompts and you should illustrate your memories to your childhood. I decided to mix it up and just add more a bit fantasy and magic and association that I have from my childhood, so I'm not just completely illustrating my memories, it's a bit more. And for the past 5 days I created illustration to different prompts like care, time, trader, dive and sweets. And we have just 2 more to go, so let's get to work. And this is the sketch that I did for today's prompt, golden. So today it's gonna be basically more about a light and shadow and diving deeper into my process of adding them, just because I felt like I need to spice things up a little bit more. As in previous videos, it's just too boring to look how I fill up all of the basic colors and shapes. But if it's not boring, tell me in the comments, please. So I have added all of my colors and a little bit of texture to her and to the background elements, and I already really like it, and I'm not sure whether I wanted to take it even further, but let's do it, we shall see. As I was a little girl, I used to go to spend some time at my grandma's house. She lived few hours away from our home, so usually it would be in the summer or in the spring. And she had this china cabinet, something like a china cabinet, in her living room, and there were a lot of different teacups and teapots and glasses and everything. And in particularly she had this one little set of like really small and cute cups and a little teapot, which look like you can play with them, like it's extra for a dollhouse or something like that. I always, as well as my sister, wanted to play with it. It was such a beautiful set with the blue colors. I can recall much details, but I know I was so excited about it and I always wanted to play with it, but of course we weren't allowed to. She never used it to drink a tea or something like that. It's just been there, sitting there on the shelf. And yeah, we never were allowed to play with it. And she always closed this cabinet with a key, so we couldn't take the things out and break them or anything. She was really worried about that. So exactly this inspired my illustration. This golden key represents the key to all of the things that I wanted to try and use but wasn't allowed to, because I may have been broken something or anything, or I was just simply too small to use. I think that this set is probably still there in the china cabinet at my grandma's house. I'm not sure, because unfortunately, due to the war situation in Ukraine, I can't visit my grandma, and I just don't want to ask her about the set anymore. One of the most recent question and one of the most frequently asked question that I get about digital illustration is how to set up your canvas size. How do you choose what is the right size? I don't think there is one right answer, just because it always depends on your project, whether it's a client project or your personal project, what kind of illustration are you going for, what will it be used for, and so much more. But let's talk about my personal illustration like this one. So I would start with a thumbnail. I would sketch out a few thumbnails looking for the ideal, for the perfect layout for me, and just decide whether it will be vertical or horizontal or square. And then I would just go size up this thumbnail to my canvas, and if needed to, I would go to the settings of my current canvas in Procreate and just change the size and the proportions to my illustrations. I would usually go as big as I can, but leaving myself around 50 layers just so I can play with the different layer modes and so on, as this is a part of my process. Before creating a canvas, I would usually choose a 300 dpi resolution. It is the best one because you can always go smaller but never go bigger after your artwork is done. Of course, if the client gives you some other directions, it's totally okay to go with a different resolution. As you see, I am also using a reference for my lighting. I found this one on Pinterest. I always tell, use references. It helps you so much more. You can't have like everything in your mind, in your imagination, and you just need some help, and it is okay and important to use some help. If I'm not sure what kind of lighting I would like to have in my illustration, I just go out there and look for some inspirational photos and see what kind of lighting is there and how does it impact my surroundings or the surroundings of the object, and how can I use it to give some life to my illustration. I do really love special lighting and special effects and bright colors and just the life that it gives to your character and to your illustration. So I would often use it in my work. To add the light and shadow, I use different layer modes. I sometimes experiment with different ones, but usually I use multiply for my shadows, overlay addition for my light. Sometimes I use hard light or the color dodge. You just need to play and see what works best for you. I really like to go for a dramatic light and dramatic surrounding situation, and sometimes I am worried that all of my illustrations are looking the same because I don't like to draw an overcast weather. I like sunny weather or a dark night with some extra light like lamps or neon lights. And sometimes I think like the viewer can get boring from my work because it's in my head. I'm scared that it gives like the same effect and the same feeling over and over again, and I really do hope I'm wrong. I would have all of my background elements on the separate layers or merged together, and foreground separated from the background, because I would like to blur a little bit of the background and a little bit of the foreground. Not always, but just sometimes to give it, as I already said in some of my videos, a cinematic look. And also, if you don't want to spend way too much time on the background and details, just do it. Then you can do your background as fast as you can, not worrying about the texture or anything. It just speed up your process. At this point, I really wanted to add some sparkling dust around the character and around the key to give it that a little bit of magic look, but I really hold myself back because again I'm scared that I'm overusing it and all of my illustrations. So yeah, this time no magic dust, no dust reflecting the light, and it feels empty. I think it's my favorite illustration from this series so far. It's a little bit cinematic, I would say, but I do like it very much. It even looks like I'm watching some movie, right? It could be a scene from a movie. And I'm just curious to see what is going to happen next, right? And what is behind that door. Thank you guys for watching this video and just following along this little challenge. I hope you liked this video. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow with the next and the last, oh my god, already the last video of this challenge. So I see you guys. Bye!